Thank you. Thank you for joining me on the journey. This is Completed Christianity. So welcome back. Another episode of Being Complete. And today is fifth day, what they say. And we're going to continue on with our video about keeping the Sabbath from Ray Comfort. And so when we jump over and take a look at this video was why the Seventh-day Adventists are wrong about the Sabbath. And like I said before, I'm not Seventh-day Adventist, and probably a lot of people listening probably know that. But I figured I could shed a little different light on this. Like I said before, and a couple of Seventh-day Adventists, 3 or 4 of them, they did responses to this and did great jobs. But I bring a little different perspective to this. And so let's go ahead here and listen to this section of the video.
Secondly, Jesus.
So secondly, he's talking about how that the Seventh-day Adventists, that they say these certain things about keeping the Sabbath, and it sounds like it can be convincing. So he's saying, secondly, Messiah. They say Messiah kept the Sabbath.
Kept the Sabbath. Luke 4 verse 16. So he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. It was his custom to go to the synagogue on the Sabbath because he was Jewish. That's what godly Jews do.
Okay, so it was his custom to go to the synagogue on the Sabbath, and he says, well, that's just what godly Jews do. Well, no, that's what you do when you want to please the Father. That's what you want to do when you want to do what the Father says. And Messiah was all about that, obviously. And so a little caveat on that. This verse and section here, he talks about here where it says, verse 14, we'll back up to there. We're really looking at verse 17, but we'll back up to 14. And it says, and about the middle of the festival, which that's Sukkot, Tabernacles. This is what's going on here. About the middle of the festival, Yahshua went up into the set-apart place, the temple, and he was teaching. And the Yahudim were marveling, saying, how does this man know letters, having not learned? Yahshua answered them and said, my teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. So what he's teaching what the Father teaches. The Father teaches his Torah. The Father teaches his ways. His Father teaches his commands. So Yahshua, he's teaching the Father's commands. And probably one of the things that was so astonishing to them was that he wasn't teaching tradition. He was teaching the Word, because that's who he is. And the Yahudim were marveling, saying, how does this man know letters, not having learned? He answered them, my teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. If anyone desires to do his desire, he shall know concerning the teaching, whether it is from the Mighty One, or whether I speak from myself. So we're looking at, if anyone desires to do his desire. This also flashes back to Matthew 7, desire. This word desire. What is the Father's desire? Is it something arbitrary? Is it something we got to guess at? No. His desire is his word. His desire is his law. His desire is his Torah. And so when we look at this word is going to be for desire. When we look at this, let's see, my doctrine, it'll be, cruise down here, 17. I guess it was 17. Okay, speak whether it be doctrine. Okay, it says will. Yeah, okay. And so the King James, to do his will. To do his will. So the word here is thelema. So we get the pronunciation.
Strong's G 2307. Thelema.
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 So that's pronunciation. This word, and this word's been popularized by modern culture, and was a maxim of a very evil man named Aleister Crowley. He used this word in what he called the law of Thelema, which that is what you see like with the rappers and stuff, and they say where they have the "do what thou wilt" on their shirts and such. That's this. The perversion of it anyway. That Aleister Crowley. This is that word in the Greek, thelema. It's been popularized, but this word here, it means to do a decree, or to do a desire, an activity that somebody has determined. And so we look at it here. Biblical outline uses: what one wishes or has determined shall be done. What the Father wishes to be done by us, commands and precepts. So this word, his desire, is for us to do his ways, for us to do his commands. Okay? So right there, Yahshua's not doing these things just because he wants to fit in. He's not doing these things because he's a Jew. He's not doing these things because he wants to be a righteous Jew. He's doing these things because these things are the ways of his Father. They're the ways of his Father.
He was brought up under the law, and he perfectly kept every one of its 613 precepts.
Okay, so he says he was brought up under the law. This continuing on the reasoning here of why it's his custom to go to the synagogue on the Sabbath. He's brought up under the law, and to keep every one of its 613 precepts. Well, this isn't true. Because, number one, there's not 613 laws. That's a misnomer. Really, there's actually more. But in there being more, even still individually, it's not likely that there's 613 for any individual to do. Okay? And we're going to take a look at this. And a lot of people say that there's actually no list. There's really no list. So it's what some people will say. There's no list of 613 commandments. Well, whoops, here they are. Okay, and this is jewfacts.org. There's 613 commandments. And so you have all these things, all these different subjects that they got it separated by here and stuff like this. And this is just arbitrary to fill in 613. And so some of these things are duplicates. This is true. This is what some people have said. Well, there's really not 613 because some of them are duplicates. Things like that, of course, yeah. That's the situation. Now we come all the way down here to the bottom. We look here at, and this is a situation, or it's an evidence of it being, there being duplicates. When we look here at 593, the Nazarite shall permit his hair to grow. Okay, so this, number one, this is something that you're only going to do if you're taking a Nazarite vow. This is something you're not going to do on a daily basis, and probably most people in their lives, even back then, are never going to take a Nazarite vow. This is an extreme loyalty to the word of the Father. So, Nazarite shall not permit his hair to grow. 594, that the Nazarite shall not cut his hair. Oh, this is the same thing. The result is the same. It's a duplicate. And so, in this, you have various different laws. Some of them, you have laws for farmers. Many of them are laws for priests. And so if you're not a farmer or a priest, that lets all of those out. So no, he's not keeping every one of the 613 commandments. And so this number 613, it's it's a number that it's a Kabbalistic number. And so here's the Wikipedia page for number 613, Judaism, the 613 commandments. 613 is a traditional number of mitzvah in the Jewish Torah. Mitzvah is commands. So even though the actual number of commands exceeds 2,000, such that the number 613 reflects some underlying and yet unstated concept. Indeed, the earliest extant mention of this traditional number is found in Tractate Makot in the Talmud, where Rav Samalai reports the number without a source. And so this number, it is a number that's taken out of the Kabbalah, which it goes on to say in Kabbalah, the number 613 is very significant, with the complete entity seen as being divisible into 613 parts. 613 parts to every sephira, 613 parts to each divine mitzvot in the Torah, 613 parts to the human body. And so this is a mystical number. So you have this law, you have this Torah, so you need these 613 parts. So this is where this number comes from. It's not an actual number of laws. And Messiah didn't keep all of these 613 laws, because you just can't. No one individual can keep all of these laws, because they're for different people. There's also laws for women. So if you're a man, you're not keeping those laws for women. So Yahshua wasn't keeping those laws for a woman. He wasn't keeping laws for farmers, because he wasn't a farmer. He wasn't a priest on the earth. He wasn't keeping those laws. So these are the things that are misnomers. And so in this video, there is not 613 commandments. That's just the way it is. And this number, it comes from the Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism and witchcraft. Psalm 89:34, my covenant I will not break nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Comments of opposition are welcome. Just don't say anything dumb like we're not under the law. We're under grace, because you've been taught to use that verse outside of the bounds of its intended context. Subscribe now. Smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notification of all future videos.